Okay, so at the end of the last video we added a level complete scene. Now we need to build on that. So let's start tracking some of the activities you do during the level, and we will store that information in variables, and then the variables will be displayed in the level complete scene. So let's start with, let's go to the GM script, public static int coin total. Starts off as 0. Public static float time total. So we're going to track coins and we're going to track time. It doesn't have to be coins, that's just what I'm going to use for this tutorial. So now what we're going to do is we need to create a coin. So game object, 3D object, and we're going to use cylinder. Now if you make the cylinder short enough, it will be flat like a coin. So let's change that to like 0.1. And let's also scale this down to 0.5 and 0.5. Yeah, 0.1, still too thick. Okay, now we're going to create mat, call this mat 3, and it is going to be yellow. So still for the most part we're using just placeholder materials. Maybe I'll do a tutorial. One of the videos in this series will be more focused on materials like give things metallic appearances or make them transparent, that kind of thing. So let's take that cylinder, rename it coin, apply the yellow mat, okay, there's the shadow, so now we're getting close. Okay. And let's rotate that. Might be a little bit too small. Let's make it 0.7 and 0.7. Okay, so now let's, by default, as I said, these 3D objects have collider boxes, so we'll make that is set to trigger. Okay, so we want a couple of things. A, we want the coin to rotate just like the capsule, but it's going to rotate on a different axis. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into that effects script and we're going to have to make a change. Previously, all it did was rotate on the x-axis for whatever object this was attached to. So far it was only attached to capsule. But now it has to rotate, I believe, on the z-axis. So we're going to have to put in a condition here. So if GameObject.name equals capsule, then it'll rotate like that. But if GameObject is equal to coin, then we want it to rotate on the z-axis. Now we will take effects and put it onto coin. So now that should rotate. So it should rotate. It's a trigger, so we need to go back to move orb because we want to check for when the orb, the sphere, the player character collides with it. So we will take this. So if other.gameObject.name equals coin, then we want two things to happen. A, destroy other.gameObject. So destroy the other object. Because up here we're saying, okay, there's a collision and it's colliding with what the variable other, or other represents what it's being collided with. So we're saying, okay, go ahead and delete other if it's coin. And we want that new variable, gm dot coin total plus equals 1. So it's incremented by 1. It's increased by 1. And then we will save this. We will go to level comp. We will add a second text. So copy, paste, move it down, wipe out the text. And it is going to need its own script to track what information is going to be displayed. The top one is just a string. It's a constant. This one is going to be a little bit different. So first let's drop the font size. We don't want it to be the same size as the level complete. And as you can see, there are things you can do, like let's change color. Let's make it like a greenish color. And you could color coordinate the text with the object you're picking up. Little minor things like that go a long way. It really gives a sense of polish. And now we need to create that script. So create C# and we'll call it stats. We'll click on new text. We'll put stats onto it. We will open stats. And what it's going to do is we want it to, so get component text mesh, text mesh dot text, and we want the text to read coins, but we're going to concatenate that with gm dot coin total. So in other words, we want to have this string plus whatever this total is. And I think that's everything. So let's go back to level 1. Let's see how this works. So there's the coin in the distance. We can see it's rotating properly. And this is rotating properly too, so we didn't break that. And destroys, and we'll see if the coin increased. So we hit the gate, and there we go. Coins 1. So excellent. So now, let's see what else we can track. Let's go back to the GM object, and let's track total time. So what we're going to do is in the update section, so time total plus equals time dot delta time. So if you remember from math class, delta is change in. So what you're saying is take the change in time and add it to this variable, which is starts as 0, but each and every one, it's the change in time. So it's the cumulative time. So let's go back to level comp. copy that, paste that, push it down, make this one like a bluish color, and now we're going to modify stats. So stats just said have the value be this. Just as we did with effects, the effects script that is, and we started to make conditions based on name of the object the script is attached to, same thing. So if game object dot name equals, let's change these names first because they're kind of garbage. So we'll call this coins txt, and we'll call this time txt because I'm just too lazy to add the extra e. So coins txt. So this script is attached to coins txt, and that is what the text value should be for that object. But if the name of the object the script is attached to is time txt, which it also is, that object will be set differently. It'll be set to time as a string and concatenated with time total. I think that should do it. So let's give this time did not work. I am wondering if it's because this isn't attached to anything, so it accepts the static variables, but this isn't attached to anything. So what we can do is we're going to create a GM object that does nothing but hold a script. So game object create empty. I was thinking we had, but it looks like we just created a GM script and not a GM object. So in this game, as in many games, the GM object isn't anything you see or necessarily even manipulate per se. It simply holds code that really doesn't belong on anything else. So let's attach the GM script and now see if that runs. Yep, there we go. So you can do an extra command like to round it or something, but so I think that's about it. Let's see how long this video is and see if there's anything else we can add to this.